This is hands down the best animated movie of this year. Let's talk about The Wild Robot. The moment I saw that first trailer of The Wild Robot, I knew this movie was gonna be good. What I did not expect was this movie to be perfect. Now, if you don't know what The Wild Robot is about, essentially the story follows this robot called Ross, who crash lands in this island filled with wild animals. And then Ross, the robot, has this objective to serve someone. That's their primary objective because that's how they were programmed. So this robot goes in this little adventure trying to serve the animals because those are the only living organisms that are near the robot. And eventually the robot stumbles upon a little duck. A little duck who imprints on the robot and essentially sees the robot as his mom. So what unfolds is a beautiful story, not only about parenthood, motherhood, but also a coming of age story and so much more. This movie, I thought it was just gonna be kind of like a mother and son type of movie, but it goes way beyond that. That trailer was so perfect at hiding what the movie is really about, and I'm not gonna try to spoil that for you. A lot of people my age, we grew up with classics from Pixar and DreamWorks. We have been recently lacking consistently good animated movies. We do get great ones, you know, there's the Spider-Verse, there's even the Inside Out 2 movie. We do get really good ones every now and then, but it's rare that we get a movie as impactful as The Wild Robot. The Wild Robot reminded me of what Pixar used to be. And I think Pixar is coming into form, going back to those basics. I think they showed that in Inside Out 2. But those original Pixar movies that stuck to you, that you would forever rewatch over and over as a kid, as a teenager, as an adult, The Wild Robot is that. And it's no surprise because it's directed by the same guy who did How to Train Your Dragon. How to Train Your Dragon is another classic animated movie. The casting in this movie wasn't just a case of putting a famous actor and voice a likable character. No, like they brought so much to the table. And obviously everything is serviced by the beautiful animation. This is probably one of the most beautiful animated movies I've ever seen. The technology used to animate this movie, the style is very similar to the one across the Spider-Verse and the Puss in Boots movies, but it's its own thing at the same time. The way the camera work is done within the movie was impressive. Incredibly impressive. It really felt like there was a camera right there filming all the action in the most beautiful framing. I have zero critiques of the movie. Like, this is the original movie that we have been seeking. I love sequels, I love reboots. Sometimes they mess them up, sometimes they do a good job. You know, I talked about Inside Out 2, incredible sequel. But I also want to see new stories. And Wild Robot is that new story. Even though it is based on a book, it's a book that I personally wasn't familiarized with. I'm so glad that a story like that was made into a movie because it just feels so refreshing. It does have some elements that may be familiar to you, especially like those Wall-E elements. But even then, The Wild Robot, it's its own thing. A lot of animated movies now, they either don't know what tone they want. You know, they'll do super childish jokes and then try to get dark for their teenage audiences. And there's this influx of the movie doesn't know what it wants to be. And, you know, it results in cheesy dialogue, rushed action, weird sequences. And sometimes you get movies that are too dark to be a kid's animated movie. But this movie is a perfect balance of everything. People who score animated movies do not get enough credit because when you see certain sequences in this movie, the music just like completes everything. It like pulls the beautiful animation, the beautiful story, this beautiful story beat all together and ties it up in a nice bow. That's how beautiful the soundtrack is. And one cool thing that I got to experience when I watched the movie is that Cinema Score actually came to my movie screening and they gave me this little ballot in which I would score the movie, and it was pretty cool. And obviously I gave it an A. This movie is a 10 out of 10. I highly recommend everyone to go see it. Again, we need more movies like this. This is the original story that the people want, that people need. And if you haven't watched it, please do yourself a favor and go watch The Wild Robot.